So BTC trading around about 96K, and I think we can thank Donald Trump for that. He dropped some news late yesterday. Is he going to save the market once again? Is he coming to the rescue? So guys, we got so much to talk about here today. I've got so many altcoins ready to go, and well, let's get right into it. And remember, as always, hit that like, hit the bell, hit the subscribe, and we do have a stand-in likes bouncer. There he is. He's cooking hard, yeah, straight out of Hackers. And yesterday he had Superman on. Today he's got a maple leaf. That's a vibe. That's a vibe. It's getting
very
into
Canadian
this whole shirt situation. Okay, let's get into Banter Bubbles. What an absolute relief. We were in so much pain over the last couple of days. So nice to see a little bit of greenery. And look at these AI agents, just like the memes. We're coming back so hard every time there was a dip a couple of months back. Now it's all these AI agents, massive bounces here. And we saw something like Altcoin rip, I think about 40% on that bounce yesterday. Look at this AI16Z is absolutely cooking at the moment. CAS has come to life as well. So just all around greenery, guys. I mean, we can be happy, but I am running a poll at the moment for you guys. I am interested to see what you have to say. So keep me posted in the poll here. Are we getting a hard bounce here on any dips, or are we going straight back to hell? I'm trying to get your sentiment here, and then I'm going to give you my plan for the day. I'm going to tell you what I am planning and what I'm thinking about over the next while. So let's jump in straight to BTC on the 2 hour, and you can see what's happening here. A beautiful bounce. Okay, we got to give credit to that bounce. There was that awesome liquidity grab yesterday, just under the neckline of that head and shoulders, hitting one of our major daily levels that we've been tracking for a while. Then we've had the beautiful push up, and where did we reject? 618 tied in with a 50-day MA at 97,500, a typical Bitcoin short zone, hence me shorting BTC at a typical Bitcoin short area. So that is a nice rejection play there for us. And now what do we do next? So answer that poll for me. Is this going to be a bullish bounce, or are they actually going to send us to hell? So levels I'm watching right now for BTC, 97, call it 97,600 is your big resistance zone. So if we do wick there again, just look out for that rejection, 97,600. Then to the upside, obviously 99,800. We'll call it 100K, the nice psychological level there that we're going to be watching. Then lower down, what are we looking for? So first bullish zone. Now remember, today we had PPI news, and that was pretty bullish. And I'm going to show you a tweet just now where they compare PPI and CPI data. Now tomorrow is CPI. So today we had PPI. That was good stuff for us, and it really helped, just sentiment in the market. So if we're going to get another bullish CPI, well, hopefully the market is going to look for some bullish pullbacks here. So first level, 94,200. Call it anything down to 94K. You can see this nice horizontal here just under that VWAP as well. So let's call it 94K. Looking for some kind of bounce there. That level ties in quite nicely with our liquidation heat map as well. Look at that. Lots of liquidity to the downside. Anything down to 94K, even just below, is a nice juicy zone that we're going to be watching there. So that makes a lot of sense to me, that 94K. So looking for bounces there. That's a possible TP zone for my short as well that we're going to pay attention to. And then look, I'm going to bang this out as well. Look at this. We do have a trend, okay? So that would be a typical trend retest on that 94K level. So not too far-fetched, a nice bounce off that zone. Then obviously, if we start bleeding lower, you need to be prepped. What are you looking for? Because I believe if we do get a meltdown into CPI tomorrow, it's most likely for entries, it's most likely for longs that we're going to be looking at. And that for me, 92,250 is going to be the next one. That is a simple 618 tied in with a couple of horizontals here for us. Now, we don't really want to go much deeper than that. We know this was PPI was hurdle number one for the week, CPI the next one, and then we kind of want a free ride into the Trump inauguration that is coming on next week. I believe it's Monday, James, 20th, Monday. Date's correct.
Yeah, no, it's the 20th. You're right. Yep.
Okay, 20th is Monday. So that is wouldn't that be the dream scenario? We get through bullish CPI and then we rip over the weekend, rest of the week into Trump, and then we take profits and we sell the the shit out of it. So that could be a possible strategy. But anybody who's feeling like this, guys, I'm in the same boat. Remember, every day I got to jump out here in front of you after trading the savage altcoin market. And this is basically a photo of me in the mornings when I wake up and I realize I got to go out there and look at these charts again and start feeling the pain. So if you guys are struggling out there at the moment, the market has been tough. The market has been brutal. And remember, when you get greenery out there, enjoy the moments, take the profits. And as always, look for some hedge shorts if you are trying to ride things. Nothing wrong with a couple of hedge plays. Now, before we get into the serious stuff, I just love this shit. I mean, this is the Oscar race. Now, this is so crypto. It's actually unreal. And a woman in France was scammed out of $830,000 out of believing she was in a relationship with Brad Pitt. I just absolutely love this thing. Look at this AI. Brad Pitt here, sending her pictures, sending her all sorts of things. Look at this on the left. And I love you. Look at this. And she fell for this shit and sent the man a little bit of money there. So she's not that happy with herself at the moment. Gotta love that shit. But then what happened yesterday? So this news dropped quite late yesterday. So we were looking at the show and we were touch and go there. A lot of the entries that I gave you guys were round and about some hot zones. We were looking at potential bounces there, and the market was looking a little bit shaky after that first bounce. And then Uncle Donald came in so hot at 10:05 my time last night and absolutely sent the market, and that teed up a little bit of the move that we saw today. And isn't that a nice cherry on top that PPI came out relatively bullish? Now, Donald Trump's inauguration will feature tech leaders and a crypto ball, honoring him as the first crypto president. I mean, you got to love the comments under these things. I love this shit. You can just read the memes under here and all the comments when they drop these things. It was actually an absolute banger lower down with these guys dancing. Hopefully we can find this one. But there's always some great comments. You just need to come for the comments there. Look at that. That's a crypto ball that I want to go to. We need to go to this one. I think that'll be a vibe. So right, let's talk PPI. So it really did surprise. It came in a lot better than forecast, and I think the market in theory should be happy with that. We saw the S&P start not gapping, but the S&P bounced on that gap close, and hopefully we are still in my resistance zone because I want to close that long that I took on that S&P yesterday. So far so good. PPI came out much better than expected here and looking hot for us. Then Walter Bloomberg really giving some key information. What does he say here? He says weak PPI means weak CPI. Not always, but often. Okay, so writes Brent Donnelly. Recently, it's somewhat rare for a Labor Department to publish PPI data before CPI data in a given month. But before 2018, this was the norm. Looking back 10 years in history, when headline and core PPI both fall short of expectations as they did in this morning's release of December data, CPI for the same month has come in hot only 21% of the times. Okay, in such cases, it meets expectations 39% of the time. Is softer than expected 39% of the time. Okay, so anyway, what am I expecting? I would say a bullish CPI. Even flat would be nice, and I think the market's going to enjoy that. The market's going to breathe a sigh of relief, and they're going to pump us into the Trump pump next Monday. So that is going to be my absolute game plan here. And really, that CPI tomorrow is going to be an absolute banger. And make sure you guys are prepped. Oh, look at that. I'm busy round tripping now. So yesterday I gave you guys a long on the S&P using Prime XBT. And unfortunately now, I mean, you can see we're busy rejecting. This was the playbook that I gave you guys. What I wanted on the S&P was a gap close to the lows. Then we wanted to see the pump to the upside here, typical rejection zone, and then that rejection. Okay, so now we are rejecting. So I'm going to leave that trade now. I'm just going to leave it open. Let's see if we hold support now back at 5,780. It's not worth closing for me now, and I wanted to close it up here for you guys. So right now, resistance 5,850 and support 5,780. Now it's quite interesting trading the S&P because you open like what you expect is quite a big size position, and this thing moves like 1% or something or 0.8%, and the moves are much smaller than some of these altcoins, but it is obviously a ton of fun on Prime XBT. So I want to remind you guys, you can see I'm always scalping BTC on Prime XBT. You can see I've got an ETH trade running here as well at the moment. I got that size up to $63,000. And right now on Prime XBT, you can see they've got a CFD platform as well. So you can long and short the S&P, gold, silver. And I want to remind you guys again, and I actually don't tell you this enough. I just take it for granted that you see me using Prime XBT all the time. But these guys are offering you a 20% sign-up bonus for Prime XBT. So if you sign up using my link in the show description, they're literally going to give you a $200 if you put in $1,000 deposit. So I'm just going to leave that here with you guys. Don't forget about that. All these exchanges actually in the show description offer some kind of bonus, some kind of reward system. And I just obviously trade on them all the time. But sometimes I need to just remind you guys, there are amazing offers from these exchanges for you. Okay, let's go jump into a couple of things. So I want to talk about Bitcoin now, and I want to look at what has happened at the end of halving years every January. And I want to look at what happened the last time we had a presidential inauguration coming up. And we want to compare a couple of things. So I've prepped this for you guys. This is Bitcoin on the daily. As you know, we can see we are still in a bearish head and shoulders. So there's no change to this setup for me until we start breaking some key levels. And by key levels, I mean, we want to break 99.5. We want to break 101,000. We want to start holding above those levels and then ride Bitcoin to 113, 114. That is our ultimate goal. But right now, we need to acknowledge this is a bearish setup on the daily, and we could be dropping a little bit further. Okay, so that information is there, and this could be a catalyst to bad CPI tomorrow. So imagine the CPI is bearish, then they come and end us again tomorrow. They're going to start hunting a couple of levels to the downside. Or what we can also consider as a scenario is CPI bullish. We start pumping all the way into the Trump inauguration. Maybe we get something like that, or some kind of rejection a little bit higher up, and then they come and end us after a nice pump in the market. So just something to watch here until we start clearing some big levels. Okay, so we understand that, head and shoulders could be potentially bearish. Then Cointelegraph came out yesterday and they said Bitcoin dumping in January is nothing new in a post-halving years, according to analysts. Okay, 130% move similar to that in the peak year of the previous cycle could send Bitcoin to levels above 200K. So let's look at this. Let's see what happened. This is the 3-day chart, and this is January 2017. What happened? We peaked in January, early January. Then there was a massive sell-off, 35% to the downside, 2017. Okay, so that was that would have been an unpleasant experience. Okay, I actually can't remember what I was doing in January back then, but then we had a beautiful pump to the upside, 78%. So that was January 2017 covered. Then the next period actually fell in line with a presidential inauguration as well. So we had the double whammy there with the market looking at that January dump on the halving situation, and we had the inauguration. So this is the 3-day chart in January 2021. You can see the highs that we hit, and then we started dipping down for a period that was 31%. We had a sell-off in that period. Then we bounced a couple of weeks later, and they absolutely sent it. So then let's see where we are now. And if we take into account January 2025, we've actually only dropped 13%. So if we compare this to what has been going on in the past, we are actually getting away at the moment with a free ride, and we can actually extend this to higher up. We can say, let's look at it from, say, December December last year, and that is only a 17% move. So what if we get a 30% dump in total from the January highs on Bitcoin? Well, let's take a look here and let's see where that actually takes us. And maybe it's going to take us to an interesting zone here. That's so 15, where's that? 15% there, 16, let's go 30% from our January high. Bang into 72K. I mean, that's pretty offensive there. That's a pretty offensive result, I would say. I mean, we don't really want to play that game there on BTC. So look, it's got to be on the table for us. It is something we need to note and pay attention to. Now, guys, you saw this awesome short that I took, and I just want to remind you guys, my trading accelerator is live again. We've got what does William say? Oh, bro, this bull run is about to start. It will be difficult to catch. Guys, this is the thing about a bull run, okay? It's like you can get chopped up in a bull run. You can get despondent. You can give up in a bull run. It's so brutal, but you got to stay the course. And one of the ways you can do it is obviously take the accelerator course. All the stuff you see me doing every single day on the charts, plus a combination of various indicators that I use, is in the super fast, super quick accelerator course for you. You're going to learn how to chart and trade from 0 to 100 in 10 days. Okay, so very simple. The next masterclass that I'm doing for the school is in 12 days time. So guys, jump in here, sign up for the accelerator, and then you're going to take part in the school, and then you can join our incredible chart hackers community as well, where we've got graduates from the school in there on Chart Hackers. They are trading with the indicators that we are using. They are trading with a lot of the stuff that I use for my day-to-day trade. So things you see on the show, how to catch an absolute banger short entry like the one I've given you. Look at that simple hot zone here. Well, simple for me because we've developed it over time. So I'll teach you how to do that, okay? Because this stuff isn't actually very complicated. So simple little things like this, we will teach you how to navigate the chart. So make sure you sign up. The link is in the description below under the show. All you do, click under the show, click on more, and then you're going to click on the accelerator school. There it is, top of the list for you. Just click on the accelerator school, sign up for the school. I'll be doing that first workshop in 12 days time. Now, everything I'm talking about today is also available under the show description for you guys. And I also want to remind you, you can see Banter Bubbles over here to the downside. There is now an app available as well. And remember, Banter Bubbles is pretty unique in the market because they are covering the live charts as well. Look at this. We've got live action here, live prices for these charts for you. And jump in, grab that link, and you can sign up, or you can grab the app on Banter Bubbles as well. Okay, enough of that. Let's get into some altcoins and let's talk things. So Boopster, one of our researchers, actually a bit of a legend. He's our low cap gem hunter in Chart Hackers. He dropped an interesting chart today. He's looking at the others chart dominance on the weekly, and he's saying not too much detail, never gone below the trend line support since 2015. Now, we've recently seen a change of character and now trading at a fib golden zone and above the order block. He thinks we're going to fly through the trend line resistance when Trump stops. So he's looking for some kind of breakout on these alts when Trump stops. So we're going to have to see how it plays. But you can see a lot of guys are leaning towards some kind of pump into this inauguration. And then maybe for me, a pullback after that, but it could be a bullish one and then some kind of pumpage. So that is looking nice for us. But we do know if we look at this total 3 chart, we can see this is still sitting in a head and shoulders, just like Bitcoin is. So something to pay attention to. Obviously, we can invalidate the head and shoulders by breaking out. We want to break the 50-day MA. We want to break trends and those types of things. Yes, we can do that. But right now, we need to see what is in front of us. And that is a head and shoulders at play for us. And don't forget, dominance is an inverse head and shoulders at the moment. And if these two now start playing out together, these alts are potentially going to be under a little bit of pressure. Okay, so just be aware when you are doing your stuff that there's a couple of things on the daily time frame that are looking a little bit bearish for alts. But remember, dominance can be less bearish for alts if Bitcoin is pumping at the same time. So if this dominance actually starts pushing higher, but Bitcoin is pumping to 105K and those types of levels, well, then you're going to see this dominance naturally push higher and the alts won't get so wrecked. But the problem comes when Bitcoin falls over. That is what I want to say. So if you see the dominance pump when Bitcoin drops, well, watch out. Okay, watch out. Okay, let's see who's in the chat here. I want to get into some of these altcoins. Enough of the macro stuff. And Sajan says, XRP breaking out soon. Well, I concur. I do have an XRP trader sitting here. I mean, this guy's quite smart about his XRP trade. Look at it. Every time you say XRP, he gets excited. I mean, it's ridiculous. But I am still sitting in an XRP position. Mike is talking NEAR at the moment. Look, I think NEAR is a good play as well. And Paul says my microphone is shit. So let me know, is there an actual sound issue here? Let's see if I can actually fix this. Maybe it's possible I've got the wrong mic on. Oh my God, guys, look at this. I mean, this is amateur hour. There we go. How's that? Microphone is better. Paul, are you happy now, bro? I hope you're happy. James, are better.
Much better. Perfect.
Oh my God. Okay. So yesterday we had tech issues. My Mac basically shut down. So apologies for that terrible video and sound quality yesterday. Well, now look, we've got the sound sorted now today. Okay, guys, apologies. Okay. Mark says virtual, please. Mark, we are long virtual here on a trend break. Hopefully we're not going to get rinsed now in this little move. So I did take a small long. I haven't looked at the chart in about 20 minutes. So we're going to take a look in a sec. Okay, let's get into some of these alts. Let's see what is what. And I don't know, should this be concerning or not? I mean, 3 whales currently control 43% of the total ETH supply. I mean, that's a little bit concerning. Okay, I mean, you know, what if someone gets a bit drunk, has a bad day, and market sells some of his shit? You know, you never know. But 3 whales controlling 43%. I think there's different views. You know, some guys will call this thing bullish. Some guys will say, well, I don't know if it's a good plan. But just something to think about. And then just touching on ETH. So things are looking decent. Things are looking better after that bounce. But quite interesting for me, we did get this ETH reversal a lot faster than I thought it was going to happen. There was a proper sell-off there, and we've been calling this 2.8 level to 2.7 for a couple of weeks now, but this happened a lot quicker than I expected. So what we're seeing here now is ETH actually front running a major level, and just from experience, from seeing these things in the past, it feels like the move is not done. Okay, it feels like they can come back here and tap this thing at some point. But what does it look like is anyone's guess. All I can tell you guys is if there are pumps, look out at major rejection zones. Look out at major areas, because one of these zones could be the move that sends you back down to that major area on something like ETH. And this is going to be similar to a lot of these alts that haven't hit major levels. So I'm a little bit concerned about that from the bigger picture perspective. And you will see, we had the same feeling the last time we had a major bounce in ETH. What happened? We pushed, bullish pullback, buy. What did we do? Printed a lower high, and then we had that sell-off. Now, at this point in time, no one was expecting that massive sell-off, but they came, and they came for us, and they ended us. So there's no reason they won't do it again until we hit these major areas. So looking for a pump, but just, trade carefully. 3,450, 3,550 on ETH. Looks like big zones to the upside. If you start breaking above that, we can have a separate discussion and we can look at rejections at the highs again. But right now, all I want to say, guys, be careful at this 3.5 level. For ETH, you can see there's a lot of work to do. And the look of this wick, we know if you've stuck around on the show long enough, you know that they love to come and fill these wicks. And you can see that's quite a sexy looking wick there. And it would make sense for the market makers to come back and start cleaning out some of that wick as well. So downside levels I would watch for ETH. 3,000, and then you can call the 200-day MA, call it 3,000 for the 200-day MA. I would watch that zone, and then lower down we're looking 2.8 to 2.7 as possible zones. Then let's talk Solana. I closed my Solana long on WeX, and I actually closed a Sol long that I had on Bitfunded. I've now got 2 funded accounts on Bitfunded. I'm going to show you how I'm doing that, and I'm actually going to do a giveaway. Okay, I'm gonna tell you how to do the giveaway, or how you're gonna get or take advantage of the giveaway in a couple of minutes. So hang in there. A Bitfunded giveaway is on its way to you guys. So just talking Sol again, there's a couple of things I like. Look at this 8-hour oscillator. Look how nice and bullish this is. The last time we saw a similar setup on the 8-hour, we did get a short-term pump. Look at that. We got a short-term pump, then the rejection. So there's a possibility of more upside on the 8-hour for Sol. Now we know lower time frames, which I'm going to show you on some of these alts, possible bearish divergence telling us short-term pullbacks, but higher time frames like 8-hour telling us, could be a little bit more bullish for us. So what you want to see for Sol, very simple game plan. I've mapped out the targets here for you. If we do break this trend, you can see we are sitting at a trend resistance now. So Sol traders, if you want to trade some kind of Sol breakout, it's a little bit tricky because you can see there's a bit of a war zone here in front of us. But if we do get this pop on Sol, look out anything from 195 up to about 200, most likely a rejection zone. And then you could have a situation where you get some kind of bullish pullback into the next big zone. So for me right now, you can see we've got trend resistance. So DGens, if you're trying to play this thing, Sol is at trend resistance. If it starts breaking trend, maybe start sniffing through this trend line and start, you can start playing around with some entries there. When you get that momentum, that is where the play is really going to start coming in for you. And then you're going to look at that retest. So ideally, you want to pop through this 190 zone. You want to retest it nicely. And your targets for Sol, 200, and your next target is going to be 210. Now, we're not going to get greedy, okay? We're not allowed to get greedy here. We're going to look at those levels, keep some discipline there along the way. Like today, I've closed my SUI long and I've closed a render long already today from these tokens as well, pushing into resistance. Remember, we got to take profit. There's also space for hedge shorting, and I've got a couple of hedge short setups for you guys that I'm going to give you today. I'm going to show you how to take a hedge short, obviously, if you want that information. So it's on its way for you guys in a couple of seconds. Let's talk some of the shitcoins. So you can see Injective slowly growing that position. That is now $28,000. I've got a hedge short now in render, but I've closed my render long. Then Brett's still giving me problems, but way better. This Brett situation was, I think it's negative $18,000 or $20,000. Okay, so I've been nursing this thing along the way. Plus, we closed that massive Brett short that I had on that dump. So Brett, I'm comfortable for now. As long as we print higher lows, I think we'll be okay for Brett. And I am in a small hedge short now on Brett as well at the 200-day MA. So we pumped into the 200-day MA. Does that look like a zone to take profit? Yes. Do I want to hold a trade? Yes. Okay, so I can open a head short in that region. So that is what I did there for Brett. I'm trading GOAT as well. That thing is starting to move. AVAX, no real changes there. I've got a new AVAX head short running. That thing is underwater. Always pleasant to see the head shorts getting rinsed because it means we're pumping. Okay, it's good. Pepe, yes, no action on Pepe yet. It's a small position. That thing is turning green. 𝗬𝗓𝗡, this is a position I'm trying to nurse at the moment. I'm trying to ride this bearish divergence on the 1 hour and just try and build some kind of 𝗬𝗓𝗡 position. I've got that chart for you. I'm going to show you a couple of things about 𝗬𝗓𝗡. TAO still dicking around. This thing is actually looking bearish now on the daily chart. It's actually under a trend. So need to make a plan on that one. XRP, James. Woo! I mean, you must be quite satisfied with this situation.
I'm buying lunch today. I got you.
So there's XRP. You can see that thing is actually printing me money. I never would have thought, even 6 months ago, that I'd be talking about trading XRP and actually being in XRP trades. Well, here it is. It's actually one of my best performers at the moment. Then you can see Sol. I've got $81,000 Sol position. I've added a bit to that. And then an 𝗬𝗓𝗡 head short. Nothing too serious at the moment. Okay, so that is how I'm playing it. Looking, obviously, if we get bullish pullbacks, then these shorts just carry your account a little bit lower down. Now, sentiment talking about crypto's top 10 DeFi projects by development. Directional indicators represent each project's ranking positioning since last month. So nice little list here. I thought, let's do something different. I see Chainlink number 1 and I see Injective number 4. So let's look at Chainlink. Let's actually see what is going on here. Let's break down this Chainlink. Let's see what comes next and what happens next for Chainlink. So right now, what you're going to be watching is a nice bounce for Chainlink. Again, nothing fancy here. Look at this. We pulled a fib from our dump on the 5th of November. That was the Trump pump day to the highs. What did we pull back on? A 618 tied in with the 100-day moving average, tied in with some horizontals as well. Absolute banger zone. So when the market's falling over, you zoom out, you look for these things, and those are your typical reaction areas. Now, anybody trading Link, there's a couple of things we can look for. Number one, we don't have major reversal signs just yet, but I do like the look of this double bottom play on the oscillator at the moment. That could be a sign that we are going to get some kind of bullish move on Link. Then what do we do for support? So your obvious support is going to be your lows, so call that 18. But then I have slightly more degen support for you guys. For Link traders, that is going to be this daily candle, and that is going to be around 19. So for the degens, 19 is your safest support that you can play with on the daily time frame. Then lower down, you're looking at 18. And where can Link go reasonably if the market pushes higher this week? Where can it reasonably go before we have to look for a rejection? Well, for me, it's going to be anything from 22.8 to around about this 23.9 zone. So if we do get a pump in the markets, what I would say is let's not get euphoric here. Be careful in these zones because that is typically where you get some kind of reaction. And if the market is going to give a hard pullback and Bitcoin is going to reject off that right shoulder after a pump, then you're going to see things like Link rejecting off its resistance bands. You're going to see these altcoins rejecting off major areas, and they are going to just copy the Bitcoin situation. So look out for that. And NZ, Danny, I can guarantee you, okay, if we survive this bull run, I'm getting a 618 tattoo. I promise you. Okay, you guys just have to stick with me to the end here, and I will get that 618 tattoo. Okay, let's talk Injective. I've got two charts for you. I've got Injective daily chart, and then I've got an Injective degen chart, and I'm going to show you a head short scenario that you can play with. So if the market starts ripping, I'm going to give you a couple of entries that you can start looking at for head shorts. If you are sitting long Injective and all those things, some of these alts, and you want to play the game, I'm going to give you those entries. So we can see what happened with Injective. Just to cover, we dropped into trend and a macro 786 pull. Look at that. Absolute banger there onto quite a solid zone, tied in with major horizontals as well. So anything above your, call it 18.5 for us on Injective, that is your banger zone. So the oscillator, not amazing. Okay, oscillator still pointing down, and we've seen things like Popcat, Whiff, Ondo pointing, turning up and printing divergence on the daily. We've got Injective actually still falling over a little bit, so that is something to note at the moment, but it has been quite a big pump. So Injective, and I'm talking to spot traders here, big supports for you now, 18.5. Then you can look at 19 as your next support. And then there's slightly more degen is going to be 20 is going to be your next support that you can use. Now let's dial into Injective and let's talk bullish pullbacks, and let's talk hedge short zones. Now, what happens if the market pumps hard tomorrow? What happens if we get a good move? And how do we prepare for things if we pump into the Trump pump or the inauguration or something like that? Maybe this is something you want to be watching. Maybe this is something that can work for you. So you can see what's happened here. Injective, we have dipped into that big zone that we just spoke about. Now we've had a nice pump. So typically what we look for, and you can see this is quite weak at the moment. That wasn't a great pump for us. Typically what you look for is your next pump into a major resistance zone. So for me, that, for example, is going to be your first rejection zone. That is your first potential short area. That is your anchored VWAP from the highs. That is your 200-day MA, which we know is a major resistance band. That is where I got that Brett hedge short as well off that 200-day MA, pumping into that zone. So I would say short zone number 1 or hedge short zone is going to be a push into 22 up to about 22.2. So just look for anything, even a fake out above that area, and then that sell off to the downside. So that would be hot zone or danger zone number 1. Okay, that would be the equivalent of what we're looking at on BTC in this type of region. Okay, that would be the equivalent there on Injective. So look out for that zone. Then a little bit higher up, you've got the same scenario. If the market absolutely sends and you're sitting in a whole host of longs and you're thinking, geez, should I be taking profit here? What are my options? Well, one of them could be a hedge short play. Okay, and look at that one. 23.5 is going to be your next banger zone. So 23.5 to 23.8. And 𝗲𝗥, bro, you are the perfect candidate. Come and hang out with us. Come and hang out with me and DJ and Dave on Hackers Sunday night sessions. Okay, Hackers Sunday night sessions. Me and Dave, we go through tons of charts. We look for shorts, we look for longs, and we'll give you some things. Okay, and alternatively, what you can also do is join the accelerator program. Okay, do that, and you're going to learn a couple of things here, and then come hang out with us in Hackers, and we'll take you through this the whole process. So don't be upset with shorts. You must embrace the shorts. Okay, embrace them, because once you start getting them right, it's quite a nice feeling, and it saves your account. If the market is falling over, there's nothing better in a red market, it's falling over, than closing a banger short. Imagine the story you can tell your girlfriend or your wife that you shorted shit and you bought her a handbag out of a short. It's a dream scenario. It's a win-win scenario. So just get into the accelerator. You'll see what it's about, and you'll see a little bit of action there. So these are your zones, guys. So those are your negative or your bearish zones that you're going to be watching. Now, let's talk bull scenario. Let's talk bullish scenarios here for Injective. What do we do today? How do we get an entry on this thing? Well, we'll keep it pretty simple. Okay, so you can see Injective is pumped. Now, it hasn't hit a major rejection zone. So ideally, you want to drag your fibs when we get a massive rejection. But you can see we are rejecting at that area. So, for example, if the market starts falling over now and you have a bias that we were bullish PPI, the market loves that, and you feel that tomorrow's CPI news could be bullish, and we're running into Trump, well, then you're looking for a bullish pullback. So then for me on Injective, you're going to look at something as simple as a VWAP tied in with a 382. So that is going to be the level 20 that you're looking for your first potential entry. And then I've got the backup 618 zone, and that's going to be at 19.5 is what you're going to be watching as your next bullish pullback zone on Injective. Now, it is interesting to me that 19.5, because you're going to see on the daily, we've got quite a big wick. Look at the size of this wick. And if you look at 19.5, it ties in directly in the middle of the quantum reactor. Okay, now that quantum reactor is in the school as well, the accelerator school, but that acts as support for us. Look at that. Look how that quantum reactor is acting as support for Injective, and it's also actually turning green here at the moment. So 19.5 has got extra confluence there on support for you guys there on that 618. Okay, so remember, these charts go straight into Chart Hackers after the show. Okay, we're going to make sure these charts are available for all the Chart Hackers members. Now, Hassan, okay, yeah, this is how we're doing this. Okay, I've got I wouldn't say it's an unlimited supply, okay, but I've got let's call it 20. Okay, I've got 20 Bitfunded accounts. Okay, I've got 20 base Bitfunded accounts for you. Let's talk Bitfunded here. And this is what Bitfunded is. Let me just explain briefly for those of you that don't know. For those of you that watch me every day, forgive me for explaining this for the 5 millionth time. Bitfunded is a prop funded trading platform. So what happens here is you send them money and they give you a demo account. Then your job is to get 8% phase 1. Then your next job is to get 5% stage 2. When you pass that, you get a funded account. They give you real money that you can trade with. So you can get a base account. The basic one is a $5,000 account that you can leverage 5x. The cost of that is $79. You can get a $10,000 account for $100, and you can get this one, for example, the $25,000 account. I think it's $249 at the moment. So you can see my current strategy for Bitfunded. I've realized the best way to do this, because it takes 10 days to pass a challenge. You can see here, stage 1, you need to trade for 5 days. You can see I've already passed stage 1 on the $25,000 account with my trade. So this means for the other 3 days, I'm going to take a $20 Bitcoin trade every day. Okay, so I don't lose money, I don't win money, but I can see I've closed stage 1. When I've traded 5 days, I go to stage 2. Then I got to go through the process again. It's 5 days. So I can nail that trade in the first hour, but then for 5 days, I'm going to open just nominal accounts. So because of the length of time that it takes to open it, I've decided, well, let me just run a few. So you can see I've passed stage 1 technically here on the first one, because I'm not going to trade again other than tiny trades. Then I've got another starter one. This is the $10,000 account. You can see I'm almost on my way there. This is day 1. Okay, I've got $300 unrealized profit. I need to make $800 day 1. Then you can see the base account. I've passed stage 2. You can see I've smashed that stage 2. Then the next one is going to be stage 2 on the other account. You can see I've passed this one as well. Okay, so I've got one more day left, and then it's a real money account. I keep 80 to 90% of the profit. So you got to do the work. You got to get through it. But what we're going to do here for you guys, I've got 20 of these base accounts. They $79 each. Okay, all you need to do is, number 1, sign up to Chart Hackers. So you need to sign up to Chart Hackers to call it in the next 24 hours. So make sure you are signed up to Chart Hackers. Okay, do that for me. Then I'm going to give you a $5,000 Bitfunded account. It's $79. So that's effectively your first month free, pretty much on Hackers. So go to the link in the description, sign up to Chart Hackers. There is a link in the description there for you. Okay, then immediately after that, email giveaways@Crypto Banter. James is going to drop that email address here for you guys. And Chart Hackers guys, don't you worry, okay? I've got 20 Bitfunded accounts coming to the Chart Hackers guys that are in there already. You're not going to be left alone, so don't you worry about that. I've got you guys coming, and James and the crew are actually going to run a competition there on Bitfunded. We'll figure out how we're going to give it to you guys, but you are going to get it. So go to the link in the description, sign up for Chart Hackers, okay? Once you've done that, email giveaways@Crypto Banter, show them that you've signed up for Chart Hackers today, and they will send you, or they will organize you your Bitfunded base account. Okay, so there we go. I'm giving you a base account, which is basically worth $79, and you're joining Hackers, and it's basically free then. Okay, so your first month. Okay, then you are cooking. Okay, so we're keeping it simple. Happy with that explanation, James?
We don't have a link quite there yet in the description, but just it's
coming, guys. For the email.
It'll get there. Right.
For the email.
Yeah.
Okay, so the email is giveaways. Let's put it in the comments here. Giveaways at CryptoBanter.com. Okay, giveaways at CryptoBanter.com. Okay, so just mail the team there. Show them that you've just signed up to Hackers. Okay, and then we'll sort you out. Okay, now I've got limited to 20. You're like, okay, if 30 of you join, I'll make a plan. Okay, so we'll make it happen. Okay. Let's go. Let's talk next. The next move for you is Aave. Now, this was a big one for us. Aave, obviously one of my favorite DeFi situations. We know the Trump crypto business. What was the name of that Trump crypto business again? Anyway, they like a bit of Aave. We know the team are getting involved with that one. And Hitesh says Aave fundamentals stay strong during the ongoing correction. Deposits are up only 31 to 32 billion in the past 2 weeks. Basically, Aave is good. Okay, in a pumping market, Aave is good. And Blunts, I mean, he kept it pretty simple, to his credit. I mean, he just said, no, this thing's going to fuck off right back to 400. Okay, so he's quite keen on Aave here, and his chart is essentially calling the bottom. Now, he's used the basic RSI here on the 8-hour, and he's showing you bullish divergence on the RSI. Okay, so I like his chart, obviously, and we can see why I'm looking for some kind of move here on Aave. I see Kimmy is loving a bit of Aave here in the chats. And look, I think it's an absolute banger. So I'm trying to get the Hackers crew into an Aave trade at the moment. We've been nursing this thing all day at the moment. And you can see what my current plan is. So there's two scenarios here. Number one, I want to point out, we're currently playing out some bearish divergence on the 1 hour, but it's quite pleasant because this bearish divergence is actually just consolidating here while the 1 hour resets. That is giving me some kind of inkling that we are going to get a bullish pullback. So immediately I start looking for my bullish pullback zones. And what are those areas? So the most obvious areas for me that we need to hold, step one is going to be 280. Okay, so step one is you want to be 280. That is your ideal scenario. So you can see what's going on here. Major resistance, just like Bitcoin, same thing. 50-day MA and a VWAP in the way, major resistance. What do we have lower down? We've got a 382 band, 280, looking for buys at 280. If we do dip a little bit lower, looking for buys, 270 to 267, that would be an inverse head and shoulders. You know that a head and shoulders is a bearish pattern, but an inverse head and shoulders is a bullish pattern, teeing up for some kind of pump. Then with that information at hand, we also know that on some other time frames, we might be looking at a little bit more upside on some of these tokens. Look at that 4 hours pushing up now. The 8 hours looking super bullish. So things are starting to tee up for me that we could be, the odds are favoring a move to the upside before the next rejection. So that is the reason why I like the idea of an RV trade. And that is why I wanted to make sure that the chart hackers were already locked and loaded, or at least getting a bit of this action in case we do get that pump. So I've started my RV position. You can see it is here at the moment. I'm running it. Where's this thing? There it is. Okay, so it's running at $16,000 at the moment. I'm just nursing it here, waiting for a little bit of action. When we start popping this trend, when we start popping the 50-day MA and the VWAP, when we start popping that, I'm going to start adding to this position. And my targets are simple. Okay, you can see these candles here. We're hopefully going to just take these out quite quickly. So my targets are 333, and the next one is going to be 350 on my next targets. Now, naturally, this can go higher. You can see we've got highs here, 380. There is a little bit more to the upside. I mean, that guy was telling us 400 or 400 and whatever. But for me, that's pretty much where I want to see RV go. And that is going to be where I'm going to end this trade. So remember, all these charts go into Chart Hackers. So that will be there for you guys. If you are in Chart Hackers, you will have access to this chart. So let this 1 hour divergence play out. It is bearish, you can see. And hopefully we hold some of our levels. If we pop that, I'm adding to RV. We're going to send it. Okay, as simple as that. And Melinda says, be generous. Guys, if you are enjoying the content, hit the like, hit the bell, hit the subscribe. And I come to you every single day on Banter Plus. I hope you guys, for the new guys, welcome to the party. There's a little bit of for everything here. We've got spots. We even got a meme coin for you now. And we obviously got degen vibes coming out for you guys. So, and William says, RV is becoming a stable coin. Look, we know it might be a safer play. We know it holds relatively well, and a nice 16% bounce off the low. So, I quite like that. Shakespeare, bro, I promise you guys, you're getting theta. You are getting theta this week. Okay, it is coming in hot. I know you guys were looking for it. And let's see. Nathaniel says, I'm really scared. I want the market to bounce. Well, look, we've had our bounce. Okay, we've got a first bounce there. Now we just want to see the bullish pullbacks. I believe the sell-off was nice. If we get nice CPI tomorrow, I think we pump into this Trump inauguration. So just hang in there. Now, let's talk meme coins. And the hackers got it first. Okay, so I gave the hackers this meme earlier today, probably 2-3 hours ago. The chart hackers guys got first taste of this meme. This is essentially the Chinese Pepe. Okay, now it's not a frog, it's a panda. Okay, so this thing is a meme, and it's a panda meme, and it's big in China. Now, it sounds like there's a partnership with Wintermute, which, as we know, helps with the pumpage, and lots of pumpage for that matter. So Bio was a buy for me, and I'm taking a look at the current setup here on Dex Screener. You can see this thing is a $4 million market cap. What I'm looking at here at the moment is you can see this thing's been absolutely sold off now, and we are now hitting some degree of support. So for me, this is a nice area of interest. This whole zone here, anything down to the 0.4 or even 0.38 region looks interesting to me. And you can see we do have a minor trend break on the 8 hour, but if we actually zoom in, you can see that is, it's nice. It looks like it's starting to turn for us at the moment. So obviously, don't ape in. This is a tiny, tiny market cap. Be safe, okay? Don't just play this thing safe. It's a tiny market cap. but it does have potential and it could have a lot of upside. So where could this thing potentially go if it does get some traction? So first zone is about 100%, next zone's about 260, and the next one's 450%, give or take. Let's not talk about the highs. We don't have to dream that big. But phase one, once we start moving, take your initial capital out. Okay, so if this thing pumps 30, 40, 50%, take something out. Okay, leave the rest. Okay, and how's everybody shouting about XRP is pumping? Mr. Invalidated says, YouTube bug. What's going on, bro? Let us know what your problem is, and let me see if I can fix it. Where are you? Is it the sound? Is it the stream? Let me know. Let me know what you're thinking of. Kuram, I've got Sui for you, bro. Coming in hot. Here it is. Okay, so a couple of things for me. Sui, I've taken profit on my Sui scalp. And again, not because I'm turning super bearish, but because we need to maintain discipline here, specifically at big areas. And you can see what's happened here. Sui gave us a beautiful bounce off the 4.25 region. We've now pumped into a resistance band, and you can see why it's reacting. Look at this reaction here. We've got the quantum reactor in the way. We've got the 382. We've got the horizontals. We've got double VWAPs. We know that 4.68 to 4.75 is a very, it's a very big zone for Sui to crack. So for me, close that Sui long. And is there another Sui long? Yes, there will be one. And there's a couple of options in play now for Sui traders. Number one is we pop through major resistance. Then I'm going to be looking for some kind of trend break play there. And we're going to look for Sui to ride this one higher up. So I want to crack the 4.7 zone. Let's break through that area. Then we can start trading momentum, and we can say, okay, quantum reactor is now going to be support for me. Horizontals are going to now be horizontal resistance is now going to be support for me. And then we're going to look for some kind of push higher up. So 4.7, let's get above 4.7 for the next set of longs. Alternatively, you can see the situation. Sui is actually looking a little bit bearish from the fact that it has lost the rising trend. So remember the story here. If we lose a trend, you often come back and you retest it. Okay, so there is a chance. Think bad CPI. Okay, think horrible CPI results tomorrow. What do we have here? We have breakdown, retest, and then you have a potential pump on that breakout play. So if we flip it back over, you can see the situation here. We can't write that off, and that will come with Bitcoin playing that head and shoulders, starting to dip to some slightly lower levels there that you have to pay attention to. So exercise a bit of caution there from that front on Sui, and naturally you can get a bullish pullback. And if you want to know where the bullish pullback is, let's quickly dial in here on low time frames, and let me give you a guide as to where we think you could catch this thing if the market is kind to us. Okay, if the market is kind, what do we want to see? So I'm just dialing in. Excuse the messy chart. We're going to bang out some VWAP here as well. That is going to be a nice guide for us. I'm on the 15 minutes now. You can see right now it's sitting on that VWAP. You don't really want to lose that VWAP too early. And look at that, okay? No surprises that it's reacting here. Look at that, 382 and the VWAP. Look at all these bounces of something as simple as that VWAP combo with a 382. Okay, that is why, degens can rock this thing. James, are you loving this XRP, bro? What's going on here? Where's this XRP? Ooh, it is ripping. She is starting to rip. Okay, nice. Okay, nice. Look at that entry. Nice.
I'm shopping handbags now.
Handbags for James. Okay, handbags for James. Okay, so guys, Sui, interim degen support, call it 4.55, and then your next zone is 4.45. 4.55. 4.45. Those are going to be your bullish support zones here. If the market's going to be kind, look at that quantum reactor there on the 15 minutes. Okay, if the market's going to be kind, that is what you want to hit. So call it 4.55, 4.45. That is what you're going to be watching. 𝗲𝗡 wants to short XRP. Let's just see quickly. Yeah, guys, TP1 here is this is it for XRP. So this is a potential danger zone. You can see why that is a hot zone there for us. Let's see what where's our no, yeah, in order blocks there as well. You got to watch out. So that is your first TP zone. So you guys know yesterday I marked this as TP zone number 1, and that is TP zone number 2. So it depends how you're playing the trade, but that is it, guys. So just be careful up here. 𝗲𝗡, good shot. Okay, you're hitting your zone there, and that does make a little bit of sense. A little bit of sense to me. She says, "Come on, legs go." Okay, so okay, you've covered that. You got Sui. You got your SUI levels. Another one I want to bring to your attention, guys. I don't talk about this one enough. 𝗟𝗓𝗏, and this week marked a new milestone on Base's growth. And on January 8th, Base volume officially surpassed ETH mainnets by hitting 2.3 billion. Anyway, 𝗟𝗓. Okay, guys, 𝗟𝗓 on Base could be a banger. Okay, so let's talk 𝗟𝗓 and what is going on now. If you look at the oscillator to the downside, that looks relatively bullish now, that reversal print that we see. Now, I covered in detail what happens when you get, or on occasion, when you get the green reversal print, you typically get the dump afterwards. And you can see in this case, it was exactly the same. They printed the reversal, then they gave the sell-off for 𝗟𝗓𝗏. So that could be a sign that we're going to start grinding a little bit higher. So anybody who wants to trade 𝗟𝗓𝗏, what you can see here is a couple of support levels to pay attention to. Number one, if the market is kind to us tomorrow, okay, and reasonable, we're going to look at 1 as your first level of support. So 1, you're looking for that bullish pullback on 1, then a little bit lower down. Look at that 786. You can't make this shit up. Macro 786. Look at that reaction off that region. 0.9 is what you're going to be watching. So those are your 2 daily support levels. This could be an amazing spot trade. This could be something you could look at on margin perhaps as well if you want to take on some risk with the information in front of you, obviously. And but yeah, for me, looking interesting. Upside targets, where can this go? 1.3, 1.6. Those are the targets for me. And what does that look like? Well, the degens, obviously, you want to try and catch this as deep as you can on a pullback. And so try and get it around 1.07, those types of levels there. You want to hold 1, and your upside full move could be 49%. Lower move could be about 23%. So that's if 1 holds, that could be a banger for you guys. But based on the oscillator, based on what I'm seeing here, we should hold the lows. Have a nice pump, then perhaps some more downside there on that daily time frame. William says it's his birthday. Guys, bless you, bro. Happy birthday for tomorrow. Okay, let's talk virtual. I dropped a long setup in Hackers earlier today, and I've taken it's a bit of a risky play, guys. So AI agents, guys, remember virtual, they're making AI agents on this platform, and a little trend break here on the 4 hour, and you can see why it's interesting to me on the short term. So this is the 50-day MA. That is going to be used as our support at the moment. Then we've also got the 786 that we are reclaiming, and we've got the trend as possible support. So for me, you know, based on this oscillator pushing higher as well, it felt like an okay trade here to take on some risk to maybe ride virtual up a little bit. Now, we're not getting too ahead of ourselves. We can just see a trend break, and possible retest has happened now, and now we want to send this higher. So virtual, if you're buying this thing here, your support you want to use, anything down to 2.6 is what you're going to watch. But remember, the deeper your support play, the deeper your risk. Just remember, your risk reward it's not massive. Okay, it is into quite a hot zone here from 3.24 into about 3.57. That is going to be your danger zone there for you on virtual. So look out for that. But if it does run, look for that rejection in that zone or a little bit higher in that zone above. Those are the most obvious zones for me where you could get a TP. And then if this thing starts ripping through, well, you're going to use it as support again. So you can see what's happening here. That's our previous resistance. So if we do pop through that, you just want support. And then you're going to try and ride that one even higher. Ralph says AI is interesting. Small market caps, good returns, no need for leverage. Big pumpers as well. Okay, big pumpers. Scott said he got virtual at 0.39. Disgusting, bro. Yes. Okay, well, that's a banger trade for you. Well done. Okay, so virtual, you've got the rundown, and I'm trading this one at the moment on 𝗬𝗥. So you can see I've opened a small position here on virtual. Yesterday, WIF as well. That thing has finally turned green for us. And Ondo, just riding that one for now. I've closed. I had a render long here. That is closed. I've had a sol long here. That is also closed. For now. So virtual trend break, you can see I've got the trade in play, and just like I've shown you on this chart, that is pretty much the plan. So exit's going to be close under 269 or 26. Those are your levels. Close under 269 or 26. That is going to be your exit point. And then, guys, the most important alpha of the day. You're not going to believe how important this alpha is today. This is actually why you needed to watch this show. Okay, so brace yourselves, because Altcoins up 60% in the last 24 hours. Okay, this was earlier. It's National Fart Day on the 5th of February. And how do you celebrate National Fart Day? You know, you got to trade the shitcoin. Okay, so, you know, you want to trade farts with your friends. So hopefully me and the hackers are going to trade farts together. And we're looking at a couple of setups here at the moment. So this is Fartcoin on the 1 hour. We've had a monster pump, okay? Not a monster dump, okay? Quite nice. After a monster dump on a fart, we now have a monster pump. So you can see our 1 hour is now starting to turn down. That is looking a little bit short-term bearish. We're looking for a bullish pullback on this thing. How can we play this? We know this is a massive pumper, so not necessarily needed massive leverage, or you don't necessarily need a big size. These big movers, you can start with a small size and you can really ramp it up. While that thing starts moving, you can add to your position, and grow size. Let the momentum grow size for you. Don't start these things with big size and immediately put yourself under pressure. That is one-way ticket to getting rinsed. Okay, so start small with these things, low leverage. As it starts climbing higher, add to your position, add, grow the size, and get it going. And I see, yeah, everyone's trading farts and chart hackers. You see, it's happening there at the moment. So what do we got now? Fartcoin, bullish pullback number 1 for me, 0.996. Look at the zone. Okay, this is our horizontal cluster. Okay, it's not perfect. Okay, it's not perfect, but horizontal cluster, 9966. We've got our VWAP from the lows as well. 9966 for me, that is an interesting zone. Then obviously, guys, if we get a sell-off in the market, that has to be the banger, okay? 0.876 has to be the banger zone coming up next for me on Fartcoin. These, if the market's going to stay bullish, those are your trade zones. Those are the areas where you start looking for moves on things like this. So look for that bullish pullback. You can see that 1 hour wants to come down, okay? So don't be surprised if you see it dipping down. Just be patient, ride it out. You're looking for the reversals at the lows, okay? You want to see these types of reversals there that we see at the bottom, and hopefully on one of these levels. So 9966 and 875 or 876 is pretty much what you're going to be looking at there. And Matty, stop farting way too early. Sorry, my bro. But look, maybe you can get another entry. And he says Rune's looking bad, zero volume. Guys, yeah, at the moment, you know, there was a bit of FUD on Rune. Okay, so they paused lending and then they restarted lending. I think James actually knows a bit about it. What's the latest there, boss?
That's it. They paused it temporarily to try and stop that bleed. They had a vote there. I'm not sure how their voting process, the community or however that works, but they voted to continue the lending. It was they vetoed the pause, so it's back up and running. And I noticed there's just no volume. There doesn't seem to be any interest. I think people are still scared right now. Maybe once the market starts getting a little more bullish, it may turn back around, because the fundamentals of the token were great otherwise, and everyone was crazy bullish on the tokens. So I think this is FUD mixed with fear of the market in general.
FUD and fear, and we have seen others start, recovering a lot better at the moment. Let the FUD die out. I think, if they pull that project around and they pull it together, it's obviously going to be a ripper. Okay, so keep your eyes on it. Look out for news on it. When things start turning there, then you can jump back in, and they're going to sort that thing out, and it's going to start ripping. Ravid says, for the school, is there also an offline course? Yeah, you can sign up now. And you can start doing the school. All the content is there for you guys. You can start doing the school immediately. But the next workshop with me, we're going to do 2 advanced workshops for you guys. That is coming up in 12 days. So you can get onto the school, sign up, do your thing, and get cracking there. Guys, there's so many chart requests. And I just want to remind you guys again, we've got so many amazing traders in Chart Hackers. It's not just me posting content. We've got an incredible team in the Chart Hackers. So if you want to just get a taste of it, jump in, try it out, okay, see what it's about, and I guarantee you, there's pretty much setups flying around multiple times a day. You're going to get lots of opportunities there, and most importantly, you're going to learn with some of the best traders that we have around, and they are sitting in the Chart Hackers there for you guys. Okay, so that's a wrap for me. You know what I'm planning tomorrow. Obviously, CPI, massive day. It's going to be exciting. Anyway, we're going to be glued to our charts on that CPI situation. And look, hopefully we get a pump. If we get a dump, guys, I'm here. We're going to sort out some entries for you. We're going to plan our way out of any dog shit if they give us some trouble. So catch you guys tomorrow. Be safe.